I want to preface this video by saying I won't be spoiling anything about the series. Instead, I want to talk about the feeling of blame, the thoughts it leaves you with long after you've closed the book. Because what lies at the core of Blom is ambiguity. Normally, I don't care too much about sharing spoilers in something like this, but with Blom, the ambiguity is the experience. It's a story built out of silence, of unanswered questions, vast empty halls, and moments that linger in your mind precisely because they're never explained. Blom isn't something you simply read, it's something you experience. And I don't mean that in the overblown, this manga will change your life kind of way. I mean it literally. You drift through it, sometimes for entire chapters, without a single word of dialogue. Yet somehow, those quiet moments speak louder than any line of text could. The world you're dropped into, the megastructure, feels impossibly vast. It's dark, cold, mechanical, and empty. Empty of life. Unless you count the machines designed to erase you. At a glance, Blom might seem like a cyberpunk action horror, a lone man with a gun fighting endless waves of murderous robots. But it's deeper than that. So much deeper. 6,000 strata deeper, in fact, because that's the journey. One man named Kitty, climbing endlessly upwards through these layers of the city, searching for something called the net terminal gene. That's the whole premise. No twist, no big reveal, just a man and an infinite tower. His goal feeling almost as impossible as the architecture around him. But what makes Blom unforgettable isn't the destination. It's everything you stumble across along the way. There were so many moments I'd turn a page and whisper to myself, "What the fuck?" Not in confusion, but in awe. Every single shape, every glimpse of architecture that shouldn't exist, every haunting figure that appears for just a few panels and is never seen again. Most stories rely on words to carry emotion. But in Blom, the silence is the emotion. You can feel it in every empty corridor, every flicker of dying light, every panel where you realize you've been holding your breath without even noticing. It's the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, but alive. And in that silence, you start to project your own thoughts onto the pages. You begin to feel what it must be like to be alone in a world so vast you can't even comprehend its borders. The architecture in this world, paired with that silence, is what I think makes Blom start to feel so introspective. You see this tiny man wandering through corridors that stretch beyond comprehension. Rooms so enormous they almost mock the idea of scale. After a while, you stop wondering where you are and start wondering what this place even is. And that sense of awe seeps into everything. Every panel Nihei draws, every impossible structure that looks like it was built by something that doesn't think the way we do. But amid that incomprehensible vastness, it's the smallest things that start to stand out. A bead of sweat forming on someone's face. A character's posture shifting ever so slightly. The way someone's expression carries more weight than it should. The way someone hesitates before moving again. These moments are never explained. There's no dialogue or narration to guide you. You just notice. And in doing that, you become part of the silence yourself. That's what makes Blom so immersive. Nihei trusts you to see, not just read. You start scanning the panels the same way Kitty searches the city, looking for signs of life in the emptiness. You start to not just read the story, but feel it. And at the center of all this quiet observation, is Kitty. He's almost as silent as the world he walks through, but every motion says something. You never really learn who he is or where he comes from, but somehow you start to understand him anyway. His persistence becomes the heartbeat of the story, the one thing that feels truly alive amidst the ruins. He isn't a hero in the traditional sense, he's just someone who keeps going, even when there's no reason left to. And that's what I love most about Blom. It doesn't demand your understanding. Hell, I don't even understand what I read. But it invites your curiosity. It asks you to slow down, to notice, to feel the emptiness instead of rushing past it. You don't just watch this world, you explore it. Every panel becomes a question. Every silence an echo that lingers long after you've turned the page. When I finally closed that last page, there wasn't really a sense of completion. No catharsis, just silence. But that silence felt right. It's the kind of story that doesn't end when you close the book. It lingers in the corners of your thoughts. And maybe that's the point. You don't finish Blom, you just carry it with you, like an echo that never really fades. And maybe that's what Blom reminds us of, that even when our part of the story ends, the machinery of the world keeps turning. The lights keep flickering in the distance, and life in whatever form it takes next keeps going.